Hi everybody, my name is Michael, and normally I'm participating or racing in triathlons, but in 2021 I've decided to give crit racing a chance. And in this race we are participating in here in a second. This is part of the Intelligentsia Cup. This is the Mundelein race, and this is the Cat 4 field. I'm racing on part of Team Intent. I have 3 other teammates in this race. You'll see them throughout, but this is a Cat 4 field, so really we didn't have too much success obviously utilizing any team tactics. Myself and some of the others on the team, we're really still just trying to learn how to race our bikes. Having a lot of fun doing it, but we're still trying to learn, so pretty typical Cat 4 team tactics. As the race starts, you probably saw I had a little bit of trouble getting clipped in. So the front of the race, even though I lined up in the second row, got away from me pretty quickly. Also, one thing to note is that the very first time I'm taking a lap on this course is right now. There was no availability to pre-ride the course because of the multiple races ahead of us. So once we got going, it was line up and the race is on. So talking with the team prior to the race, Cat 4, but we're still going to try and figure out, hey, can we employ any type of strategy here? The thought process was, for me, at least my strategy, talking to our coach, is to, in the first lap, take a flyer off the front, see what happens, who's going to chase. So even though I had a poor start off the line, I was able to make my way to the front of the race at the halfway point, and that's exactly what we do here. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit, so about the 1 minute mark you saw me go off the front, and I take a couple guys with me. Originally I didn't even know that we had any bit of a gap, but afterward my coach ended up telling us that we had a couple bike links, me and the other guys here. So that was kind of surprising, because when I look back, I didn't perceive that we had that much of a gap. And I thought that the field was really on our tail. So anyway, about a minute and a half into this break, my legs are feeling pretty tired. We had one guy, as you saw back there, go into the gravel in one of our turns. Obviously, other riders, we're still trying to learn this course. We're only on our second lap of it. Now 3 minutes into the break, my legs are definitely feeling it, and I want someone else to kind of come through and pull a little bit. That just didn't happen, and the pack caught us up pretty quickly. So that's what you see here. The pack has now caught us, and I'm just now going to sit in and try to take the rest of the race as easy as possible leading up into the finish. We're at about the 3.5 minute mark, and my thought process now is trying to take the race easy, is get back a couple, 10 or 15 guys back into the field and get as much of a draft as possible, learn the best lines in each one of these turns as I can, and be as efficient as I can. So that's exactly what I'm trying to position myself to do. I don't think I do a very great job of that. Obviously, even right now, you can see in front of me, I'm leaving huge gaps between the wheels in front. I'm not taking the best lines, and I'm really kind of letting people just continue to roll off in front of me. These gaps are definitely causing problems for me, because obviously not getting a good draft, I'm going to be burning a whole lot more energy than I need to. That's obviously something that I recognize. If there's something else that you recognize I need to be doing differently to be a better bike racer, please go ahead, drop down in the comments and let me know. That's really the purpose of these videos, is one, I get to watch it, make sure that I don't make these mistakes in future races. But if you see something that I'm not seeing, go ahead and let me know. I'd really appreciate it. All right, now moving forward with the rest of the race, you can see now that the group is pretty much swallowing me up, and I'm 15, 20 wheels deep in this field already pretty quickly. The front of the race stays pretty tight, and now my goal here is to, again, just be as efficient as I can. I'm going to fast forward it pretty quickly. We can evaluate how good I am at being efficient here in a second. But while we go forward a handful of minutes through the race, really quickly about me, my FTP is about 315 watts, just to help give you some reference in terms of what the efforts I am doing off the front. In this race, you already saw the peak 1 minute power that I completed. It was 465 watts. The peak 3 minute power in this race for me was 334 watts, with a normalized power throughout the 28-minute race of 276 watts. Now, overall, those numbers aren't all that significant to me, but what was significant was the amount of time that I spent over 380 watts. So 26% of this race, just over 7 minutes time, I was up and over 380 watts. And I think that's something, coming from a triathlete background and training program, I definitely didn't have the legs for. All right, so let's kind of get back to how well am I doing at staying in the pack and being efficient. Well, as you can definitely see on the screen right now, I've lost contact with the pack. I was with 3 or 4 other guys, and 3 of them made a surge forward. I was behind a wheel that wasn't moving forward, and now I see this guy in the white and the black. He's decided to move up and catch that group of people in front of us. I thought that was a good idea, so I tried to go with him as well. Obviously, if you rewind it just a bit, you'll see I just didn't make that decision fast enough. I need to be faster at making the decisions on getting behind the wheels that are moving forward. Here, I made the right decision a little bit ago, and then I make the wrong decision. Again, I probably should have jumped ahead of this guy in the black and the red, and instead I stick on his wheel, and you're going to see the guy in the white and the black. He moves forward and gets much better position than I do. And again, me just sticking on the wrong wheel for way too long, not being efficient, even when I'm doing that, all those things are problems. So definitely things I need to improve on that front. The guy in the black and the red, he gets tired. You can see him flick his wrist. There's still a couple people behind us though. So my hope is, I'm still a little tired from those early efforts, and I thinking I either sprint down the front stretch here on the other side, or I let these guys come around and start doing some of the work. Thankfully, they decide to come around, do some of the work. You see them pulling in front of me here right now, and they're really good drafts. Being behind a big guy like this is pretty much perfect, especially if they're going to start putting in the work for you, and that's exactly what they start to do. So I lost contact with the group. If we want to go back and look at that, it was around the 5-minute duration point, and it takes all the way up. As we kind of again start to fast forward through some of this, it takes just about. Well, let's wait and see. When do we actually make connection here? Coming down the front stretch again, we still haven't caught on. Yeah, right around the 15:30 mark do we make connection with the front group. So I spent 10 minutes not being in the front group, hanging off the back, taking a lot of wind and using way too much energy. So moving forward, that's definitely something I have to improve upon, my position in the group. We're going to fast forward though from that 16-minute mark, you'll see now, to the 23-minute mark. Once I was able to get up to that front group, not a whole lot happened, because the group that was up there wasn't gaps opening up. People were racing or positioning pretty well. So I hung on to the back pretty easily throughout that point in time. But right now we just came across the banner and we have 3 laps to go. So there's a little bit of anxiety happening. This is also a preem lap, I believe, and this turn 1 gets very crowded. And did I mention this is a Cat 4 race? Because yes, we just had our first crash there. That actually took out one of my teammates that was in contention for the Omnium in the Intelligentsia Cup. Unfortunately, he also damaged his bike in the process. So pretty bummer result for the team to have him go out in that type of manner. Just too many people entering turn 1, going wide, and then taking each other out. So unfortunate circumstances there. The front of the race though, throughout lap 3, there was no additional attacks throughout that point, and that lap remained pretty calm. So we're going to jump ahead to this 2 to go. 2 to go, 25 minutes into the race, and this is kind of where I'm starting to think to myself, Michael, you've been hanging out the back of the race for 20 minutes, pretty much since the 5-minute mark of the race. Had to do a whole lot of work throughout all that, but it's time for you to start moving up. Not only that, but you can also see in front of me the guy in the green and the white going over some of the bumps, that things are starting to get a little bit more chippy or a little bit more aggressive in the pack. People are really starting to guard their position, or to try to do their best, at least at doing that. So again, 2 laps to go. We're coming down the backstretch, and I can see things starting to get a little bit wide here, or slowing down. So this guy in the white and the black starts moving forward, and I'm thinking this is pretty much perfect because he's moving me to the front of the race as well. I stick on his wheel, and coming through this 3rd and 4th turn of the race, I'm going to find myself in really good position, probably the best position I've had since the first lap of the race. I think if we count the guys here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 guys in front of me, and we are about to come under the banner for the final lap. At this point, I'm pretty excited because I actually have good position. I don't quite honestly know how I ended up here, but I'm starting to think about 2 laps ago, what happened to my teammate. I saw him in the gravel, and I'm starting to hear people yell, inside, 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 and in my mind, I don't know what happens. This turn, it looks like I gave up. I promise you that I know that's what it looks like, but I did not give up on this race. I cringe every time I watch this because I know all the position I got on that last lap, I just handed it all back, and I should have been more aggressive in that turn. I should have took the line that I wanted to take, and then I probably would have been 40 meters ahead of where I'm at right now. It's super cringeworthy. I wish I would have done something different, but right now I'm at the back of the pack, now 20 plus people back, because right now about half of the field has dropped out or has been pulled. And there's pretty much nothing I can do. As we're going down the backstretch, people are starting to ramp up the power. The field is going from one side of the road to the other, and if I was 6th or 7th wheel right now, I probably would have had a lot of options, or I would have at least been able to make a decision to go with someone's wheel. But where I was, because of how I took that turn 1, pretty much ruined the entire race for me, which is such a bummer. A huge learning opportunity though. And again, definitely appreciate if you guys have any comments below on what I should have done differently there. Also, if you've liked or have appreciated this race recap, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button below. I will try to do more of these as I get more chances to do crits, and I'll also continue to upload some triathlon related content as well. So that's it from this one. Thanks everybody so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.